Legend, Billie Eilish, Phineas. Nicki Minaj is not here. She is not here. She is...
After the chaos that went down at the 2026 Grammys, Nicki finally lost her cool, and what she dropped on JayZ shook the entire industry to its core. She's calling out Jigga and Queen Bee, saying they tried to pull a slick power move behind closed doors, acting shady like they ran the whole game. Once the footage hit the net, everything blew up instantly. The drama went from whispers to straight-up headlines overnight. Let's break down how one wild Grammy night turned into total mayhem. The 2026 Grammy Awards were supposed to be all about celebrating music, right? Everything was set up perfectly. The lights, the stage, the stars, all of it. Every major name in the industry showed up to the crypto arena in Los Angeles, ready to flex and shine. On February 2nd, 2026, Trevor Noah came out hosting for the 6th and final time, saying it was gonna be a night to remember. The energy was crazy, the vibes were elite, and everyone was hyped, until one little joke flipped the whole script.
She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues.
The camera started sliding across the crowd, catching every single reaction live. Some folks were laughing all nervous, pretending to be chill, while others looked tight and uncomfortable. But then, boom, things took a wild turn that had the whole internet losing its mind. The crowd went off. Chrissy Teigen even got caught on camera throwing a thumbs up, celebrating the fact that Nicki Minaj wasn't in the building. That one clip alone sent fans into overdrive. John Legend was sitting right next to her when it all went down. And the wildest part? The entire audience started cheering just because Nicki wasn't there. Let that sink in for a sec.
In a series of tweets, Nicki Minaj is claiming that JayZ owes her $100 to $200 million so far.
The crowd at one of the most prestigious music award shows was celebrating the absence of one of hip-hop's most iconic and decorated female MCs. That energy was straight disrespectful. But Trevor Noah wasn't finished stirring the pot yet, not even close. He kept going with the jokes and suddenly dropped what everyone swore was a dead-on impression of President Donald Trump. The room got tense real quick. The punchline? It was all about Nicki pulling up to Washington, D.C. just days before the Grammys, where she was spotted vibing with Trump himself. She had taken pictures with him, calling herself his #1 fan, and even showed off what she called her gold card visa. Word is, she'd been having real talks with U.S. officials about issues affecting Nigerian Christians, and now Hollywood was clowning her for it. That's when things started boiling over. Nobody in that building had a clue that this one joke would light the fuse for one of the most explosive meltdowns the music industry's seen in years. Right there during the ceremony, Nicki went off, firing out nearly 24 posts back-to-back on X. She hijacked the entire night's online conversation. While other artists were up there accepting trophies and putting on performances, all eyes were locked on Nicki's feed. Everyone was talking about her. Every post, every word, every screenshot. The whole internet was spinning. Nicki didn't hold back for a single second. She went straight for the jugular. She called the Grammys a ritual and wrote that God Almighty would reveal himself to them.
That when you criticize somebody for what they are doing or haven't done for a community, whatever her argument is, you have to be doing equal or more. Because that would be my question, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm not doing anything, what are you doing?
She wasn't just talking, she was preaching. Then she declared that every tongue that rises up against her in judgment shall be condemned and put to shame. The confidence was wild, but that was only the warm-up. What came next had the whole world shook. Nicki started dropping throwback photos, straight blasts from the past. She allegedly posted old pictures showing JayZ with Aaliyah back when she was said to be around 15 or 16 while he was 27. Then she followed it up with vintage snaps of a young Beyonce with JayZ from the late 90s. She was calling out those old relationships and throwing serious shade about the age gaps, basically labeling JayZ as a predator, all on a public stage with millions watching. No filter, no hesitation, just pure fire. The media couldn't keep up. Outlets were scrambling, dropping hot takes left and right. Forbes called it a full-on MAGA rant. Gossip labeled her posts demon-crat delusions. Rolling Out said she straight up hijacked the Grammys. But here's the part that really broke the internet. While everyone was busy reacting, Nicki Minaj became the most searched artist in the world that night. She didn't just trend, she took over. She outpaced the Grammys themselves and every single artist who actually won an award. The wildest thing? Nicki wasn't even in the building. Not a seat, not an invite, nothing.
Actually, Nicki, I have the biggest. I have it. Everybody's saying it, Nicki. I know they say it's you, but it's me. Wop, wop, wop. Look at it, baby.
Yet she dominated the entire conversation from miles away. That right there? That's real power. Remote control over the whole industry. Now that's what real influence looks like. And that's exactly why certain power players in the industry wanted Nicki silenced. But let's be real. This whole Grammy night explosion didn't just happen overnight. This was years of built-up tension between Nicki Minaj and the music industry's elite finally bursting into the open. It wasn't just drama. It was decades of business beef, shady deals, and behind-the-scenes betrayal finally catching fire. Nicki wasn't just lashing out. This was personal. She'd been blackballed, mocked, and left out of the biggest night in music. And then the crowd had the nerve to cheer because she wasn't there. They laughed at the jokes thrown her way, even threw up thumbs ups when her name got clowned on camera. But what nobody realized was that Nicki Minaj was getting ready to dig up receipts some people in high places had prayed would never see daylight. First, she went straight at Chrissy Teigen for that thumbs up moment. Nicki claimed that everybody knows Chrissy's hiding something major, allegedly about her past. Then she turned the heat toward Lizzo, taking a jab by saying she lost 300 pounds just to sell 300 albums. It was brutal. And she didn't stop there. She even came for Trevor Noah, accusing him of pretending to be someone he's not, saying everybody in the industry knows who his boyfriend is.
So, over the weekend, Beyonce took her tour to Paris, and of course, all of the celebrities popped out, but one of the biggest names that people were excited to see, he's at every tour stop, but JayZ actually came out on stage with Beyonce in Paris. Now, this is a big deal for several reasons. It has been 7 years since they have performed on stage together.
The shots were flying in every direction, but none of that compared to her main target, JayZ. Nicki claimed he still owed her hundreds of millions and that he'd been destroying industries to keep his empire untouched. She wouldn't stop saying his name. Not that night, not the next day, not the whole week after. Every post, every comment kept circling back to him. She told her fans loud and clear that these powerful figures had been doing some horrific stuff to gain and hold onto their power. And she was ready to bring every secret to light. The way she said it had the whole industry shaking. Nicki wasn't holding back anymore. She told people straight up to never vote Democrat again if they really understood what was happening behind the scenes. She said she'd been warning everyone for years, but folks kept trying to clown her and shut her down. Then she teased that maybe it was time for her to start doing story times, to finally spill everything she knew. The way she said it had everyone glued to their screens. But that wasn't even the wildest part, because right after that, Nicki dropped a business bombshell that shook the whole industry to its core. She announced that she wouldn't be releasing any new album until her contract got fully renegotiated and until she could publicly expose what she called the sabotage. She wasn't talking small drama either. She mentioned a possible Ryko situation and even said she'd uncovered proof of Billboard manipulation. At that point, this wasn't personal beef anymore. This was a full-blown war against the industry machine.
Dear #JayZ, you ruined hip-hop, you ruined football, you ruined basketball, you ruined touring, you ruined Instagram, you ruined Twitter.
The night that was supposed to be all about celebrating music turned into a dark reveal of everything twisted hiding behind the fame. Nicki flipped the Grammys on its head, the glitz, the cheers, all of it, and turned it into a moment of reckoning. She made it clear that the bag they owe her and the system trying to silence her were about to get called out loud and clear. But to really understand why Nicki went off like that, you gotta rewind back to 2015, the year JayZ launched Tidal, his big streaming service that was supposed to change the whole game for how artists got paid. Back then, Nicki was one of the original artist partners, holding a reported 3% equity stake in exchange for promoting and dropping exclusive content. She showed up to the launch event, smiling next to JayZ and Beyonce, and she pushed that platform harder than anyone else besides Queen Bee herself. She went all in, using her massive fan base to promote Tidal nonstop. But somewhere between then and now, that partnership turned sour, and by the looks of it, Grammy night was the moment Nicki decided to finally air it all out. Then came 2021, and that's when things really started to unravel. JayZ sold Tidal to Square for a massive $302 million, a deal that should have meant a huge payday for all the original artist partners who helped build the platform from day one. But according to Nicki, that's not how it went down at all. She said she got a call telling her straight up that she wouldn't be seeing any real money from the sale. Nothing close to what she deserved. Instead, she claimed they offered her just $1 million. One measly million. Basically hush money to keep quiet about the whole thing. Nicki wasn't having it. She made it clear that she wasn't about to sell her silence for pennies when she helped push that brand hard from the jump.
Someone owed me $200 million, then I would be in court, not on X. And I guarantee you, if she ever took that to court, that would be a huge story.
Yeah,
I agree.
'Cause Lauren would get the first details as soon as it hit the court.
I would be at court.
Fast forward to July 2025, and Nicki finally decided to take it public, and she didn't hold back. She jumped on X and said the total amount she was owed sat somewhere between $100 and $200 million, calling it a karmic debt that JayZ still needed to settle. She said that the longer it went unpaid, the more interest it was collecting. And just to twist the knife a little, she added that he was still in her top 5, a slick, backhanded compliment wrapped in pure smoke. But the cash drama was only one piece of the puzzle. Nicki started making claims that went way beyond just contracts or business beef. She accused JayZ and Roc Nation of ruining entire industries. She said they'd messed up hip-hop, football, basketball, touring, even Instagram and Twitter. That list had everybody's jaw on the floor. Like, how could one man or one company possibly have that much control? Those accusations were so wild, it had the whole internet asking the same question. What does Nicki really know? The football accusation Nicki dropped connected straight to one of the most controversial Super Bowl moments ever, the 2025 halftime show in New Orleans. When it was announced that Kendrick Lamar would be headlining, fans were split right down the middle. Everyone had been expecting Lil Wayne, the hometown legend, to finally get that spotlight. But instead, JayZ, who oversees Super Bowl performances through Roc Nation, gave the gig to Kendrick. Nicki wasted no time calling him out. She blasted JayZ for what she said was a straight-up snub against Wayne, accusing him of denying a young black man what he rightfully built in this game, all because of his own ego. She claimed JayZ's long-running beef with Birdman, Drake, and herself had now spilled over onto Lil Wayne, and that Wayne was paying the price for Jay's grudges. Then Nicki turned up the heat even more, saying her own content was being suppressed across multiple platforms. She claimed her feature on Lil Wayne's Carter 6 album was being deliberately buried by the higher-ups. The track, titled Being From In On It, had Nicki spitting bars about the NFL firing certain people, only to call them back later, which many saw as a clear jab at the whole Super Bowl situation. She didn't stop there. Nicki tweeted that they didn't want fans to see when she was liking posts or supporting others online. She said her features were getting demolished and that she was being monitored, talking about listening devices, cameras, car tags, even page tracking. It sounded like she believed the whole system was watching her every move. Nicki told her barbs to start saving everything, every flag, every suspension, every time they got shadow banned. She said it wasn't random, that it was all connected. Then she began retweeting fan theories about Jay-Z's possible ties to Twitter and other platforms, especially after rumors swirled that he had involvement when the company was sold to Jack Dorsey. Nicki made it clear she believed her fans were being silenced on purpose. Some even claimed that every time they defended her online, their accounts would mysteriously get hit. And that only fueled the fire more, because to her fans, it didn't feel like coincidence anymore. Nicki's fans were claiming that every time they tried to promote her music or hashtag her new songs, the algorithm would bury it, like the platforms were working against her. But hold up, there's one big question that even her supporters had to consider. If Roc Nation really had that much control over social media, then why couldn't they stop all the negative stories about themselves from spreading like wildfire? That's exactly what the hosts of The Breakfast Club asked when they covered Nicki's whole meltdown. They said, if Roc Nation could suppress posts, wouldn't they start by suppressing the ones dragging them first? It's a fair point, something that made a lot of people pause and think twice, and just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more explosive, they did. Because what Nicki hinted at next takes this entire situation to another level. And trust me, we haven't even scratched the surface yet. There are more names, more receipts, and more connections that start to paint a much bigger picture behind the scenes. This story is far from over. Part 2 is dropping very soon, and you do not want to miss what comes next. If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to see it, and of course subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Stay locked in.